the stuff that I'm talking about might be dark, and I've been down many dark rabbit holes. I've faced a lot of the darkness that the world has to offer me on the internet and so on. But I am so optimistic about the future, especially given my case, you know. And to go back to that case, just to bring it back to answer your question fully, I was for 3 weeks going out every night, disabling units. And then I put out a video online, and in the same day, the media campaign against me began. It was divine timing, you know. I put this video out, it started doing crazy numbers, and obviously their mugshots of me were doing crazy numbers as well. So who is this man with, a CCTV image of me on the Policing Cambridge Facebook
So did
page?
you never at any point have a balaclava on? You weren't ever one of those guys?
Nah,
No?
nah. I mean, from day one, I was,
Fair play.
yeah, stand out in the light, like,
Own it.
yeah, exactly. And own it, especially because I knew I wasn't committing a crime. Yeah.
Mm.
I'll just carry on with my train of thought there, just to not get lost. But 3 weeks later, they put out this media campaign, and I was like, right, I'm getting picked up in 24 hours. And then I was getting calls from people that from my past who were, trying to get the goss, what's going on with you? There's a picture of you in the paper and whatever. And then I'm also getting calls from people that I haven't met before, saying, we're here to support you. Get this ready, that ready. Have you got this? Have you got that? And suddenly it became really real, and my heart's racing, and I'm sitting at my computer even till 11 o'clock that night, writing up all of my statement and getting my evidence together, my folder, making sure I'm ready. A lot of that prep had taken place already. I was 80%, but the last 20 was done in a rush, let's say.
Mm.
And the reason why I say all this is I then get picked up, put in a cell. They're obviously pissed off. They've got plain clothed detective constables, DCs, in my house, which is like not normal. Yeah, they usually have uniforms. Yeah, which are the kind of lower rankings. When you get to detective inspectors and whatever, they're plain clothed. And yeah, they're detective inspectors walking around in the house while I'm in a cell, and they were clearly not happy. It wasn't just somebody's gone out and caused a load of criminal damage. It's like we need to plug these holes in our ship, otherwise we're going to sink, kind of vibe. And they promised me in the interview, we're going to take this to Crown Prosecution tomorrow morning. You're going to be in magistrates by the afternoon. You'll be in the Nick by tomorrow evening. It was promised, basically. They mic dropped that and they walked out the room. I went back to my cell for an hour and a half, and then bang, the door opens. You're out on bail. No bail conditions. From the door swinging open to me being on Parker's Piece, which is like this beautiful green area outside the police station, kids playing and whatever. From me being in the cell to being out in the sunshine with people, it was like 5 minutes after being in the cell for 18 hours and being promised that I was going to be locked up.
So what changed?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, internally, I knew nothing had changed, and I knew that that was going to be the outcome. But still, there's nothing that can prepare you for that level of
Divine
confirmation.
intervention.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So, this was answering your earlier question about how do you see the future. The moment that I ended up walking home, nothing in my pockets, with my jaw hitting the floor, like that actually just happened. This new wave of optimism was hitting me at the same time, where it's like, we have got this. We've got these people. I'm not saying that everybody's a bad actor, but the rot is prevalent right now in, most institutions,
Mm.
especially authoritative ones, right? So I'm walking home and I'm like, this is world changing for me. If people can get their head round it, it's world changing for the world.
So
You know,
essentially, your 18 hours and how it ended in the cell was your revelation.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I already knew it because I'd read all the docs and whatever, but it was ultimate confirmation. I've got like high level, high ranking police officers on my case, the DIs and whatever. They gave it good in the interview, you know. Basically, I just read my written statement, I gave them all my evidence, and then zoop, I'm not saying anything. I don't answer questions, yeah. And you know, they had everything that they needed.
Mm.
Yeah, they had picture evidence, they had physical evidence, you know, whatever. And still they let me out. You know, it's as easy as one,
That
two.
is really baffling because you would have thought at the very minimum they would have tried criminal damage.
Yeah, well, that was what the charge was for. And by the way, criminal damage under 5K is potential slap on the wrist territory. You go over 5K, that's like a switch, basically. So I've been told. I haven't
Mm.
seen that written, but either way, I was on like six figures, you know, and you realize at that point it doesn't actually even matter. You know, you've got Matt Houston and his case. There's probably 10 to 30 times in terms of value what mine is, and they can't put him in court. You know? So this is revelatory, and I hope that the listeners can really understand the significance of me being let out. It's it's an admission on so many levels, right? Partially, it's an admission of Operation Talla because from the moment I was picked up and in the interview, I was not quiet about that. You know, I'm aware of Operation Talla. I'm going to talk about it all the time. Yeah. So one could argue, you know, let's say that they were actually sensors and I was causing mindless criminal damage. Just the mention of that made it difficult for them to prosecute. But then you add in that these are actually weapons and that they know, yeah. And then
Mm.
we've got two counts of being complicit in mass murder and genocide. You know, after all of the complicated research one can do into common law and you know all that jazz, and it gets really confusing very quickly. The golden goose egg is the people who are trying to do you for anything are accountable for masses of deaths, huge amounts of damage to humanity, crimes against humanity, you know. And so it's
Mm.
like this really is it. This is everything we ever needed to make this happen. And that's why this call to action really is here. The crack in the door has opened. We've got the crowbar in. Let's storm the door. Let's get through there. Let's open this thing up, you know.
It's the biggest that I can think of call of treason that we've all
Yeah.
endured.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest opportunity to take down what we know doesn't serve us, right?
Mm.
Like, you know, you don't just go in unprepared and you know, burn and smash stuff. That's what they were accusing me of doing. But you go in with intention and focus, obviously research. You've got to back yourself. And I don't mean like I've got my folder here. You know, I don't mean like this folder is a carte blanche. I can just hand it over to a policeman and do what I want, right? You have to absorb the information.
Mm.
There's a
You have to
lot of
become the information.
exactly.